do is go over a couple things that I think are going to be beneficial, that are going to help you guys. As far as trading goes, just simple things that will help, just as far as learning to do specific entries, when not to do specific entries. Just seeing the market on with more awareness, and not jumping into things. One thing I want to outline is gold, because this is a very trendy pair. And if you notice, if you look at the difference, right, and you see, for instance, the way gold looks on this, and you look at the zones that we have aligned on gold right now. If you follow the path, so it's I'm trying to think of how to do like a story with this so that it makes sense. When we're looking at the market, we're essentially looking at a story that's being told right in front of our faces. Like the market is telling us a legitimate story. So when you look at gold, for instance, we can look back at this thing and we have specific key levels that are lined up right now off of gold, right? And the places that play a role in the market are all the levels that I have lined up right now. This story right here tells us that when the market reaches this point, it becomes a selling market. When the market reaches this point, it becomes a selling market. So if it reaches it again, we're thinking in our head to sell. Now, what makes it wrong is when we tell ourselves that because we sold right here and the market went up, we were wrong. But in all reality, what was wrong about that was what we said to ourselves. That was what made it wrong. And it's like I always go back and say that the market is always right. So it's not that the market that it's wrong to have sold there, but it's because that the market is always right. So you have to understand that when you're getting in, is you're trading with the system that is going to help make you money consistently over time. So if you sell right here, and as long as you don't risk, a crazy amount of percentage on your account, no matter what happens is going to be the correct outcome. So if you lose here, that's okay. And then if you come here and you buy because you're like, oh, it broke there, now it's coming back for a buying opportunity, that's okay if you buy right there and the market comes down. That's not a wrong thing. This line right here, just at the time, it was very synchronized. It was very aligned when it reached that. But when it hit the third time, it wasn't. When it hit the fourth time, it wasn't. When it hit the fifth time, it was back and forth. It didn't really know what it wanted to do. This is when it started trading a little bit better off of this line. It started playing a little bit heavier resistance there. It started playing a little bit heavier support right there. So when you look at it, and we zoom in on it, and you look at what these two lines symbolize, you can see that sellers got engaged there, and then it shot up, and then buyers got engaged there. Now, obviously, this is the daily chart, and this is pretty much our centerpiece for seeing where we're going to start entering in the market. And then you can see that the market shoots up there. But there's different stories that the market begins to tell us that begins to happen. We can see there's a support right there and the market goes up. We can see there's a support right here and the market goes up. So that's important to see those things, because in all reality, when we're trading, we don't see this right here. This is all we see right here is this. So the only thing that we're looking at is, well, if the market comes here, we could potentially see it go up again. And if it chooses to go up or not, that doesn't mean that what we did is wrong. It just means that the market's always right. So there's usually a lot of judgment that goes on with ourselves, a lot of inner work that has to be done within ourselves in order to let go of those certain beliefs and identities that we have. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, is doing that inner work and letting go of those things. So you see this, you can see the market drops right there. You can see that the market drops right there. So when you're looking at the market, you're just figuring out, okay, where are the best zones in which the market reverses at? That's pretty much all we're looking at. So in seeing this and watching this, I think I'm about to sneeze. Yep. There we go. Let's go, boy. Okay. Damn, I sneeze and the market drops 1,000 pips. But yeah, oh yeah. And I mean, this line down here that I had, sorry, I meant to talk about that too. You can see the market shoots up right there. You can see that the market shoots up right there. But the key is to understand what are the amount of pips that that thing goes up. Right there, that's an 800 pip move that it does right there. Right here, that's a 2,300 pip move off of that move. So at least you see 800 pip move right there. So when you look at this right here in the market coming over here, you know you have at least 800 pips that you can be looking forward to if the market comes all the way down there. And that's why in trading, it's not you're not trying to be like worrying about the right or wrong game. That's that programming that I'm talking about that we've had our whole lives is the right and wrong, pass or fail, essentially. That's how we get graded with the way that the government has put the indoctrination into the schools. So that's essentially how we're graded on everything. And it doesn't necessarily make it the best way, because normally the way that we learn is getting on the bike and falling off the bike and getting back on, and falling again and then getting back on. We learn that way. So seeing these things and watching these things, and it's a critical moment, because when we come over to here and we look at this, the reason why I have that lined out is because by the time that we get over to here, the market is in, and I told you guys a couple weeks ago, this is going to be a very tricky zone, because we're going to see what happens with this market right here around this level, because there's supposedly this is a support, that is a support for the line chart. So you see that right there, and this was that little zone. This is what I was saying about a buy on gold right here. I think it was last week at 1723, and it ended up coming down here, and I was talking about that double bottom zone that could happen from right here to right here, that there's a double bottom from here to here that could potentially happen, and it's set really strong on that level. And we got that huge, I don't want to say too huge, but 1722 all the way up to 1766. That's a 400 pip move. You see what happened. What was the story that it told us? So you look here, you see that the market has a clear-cut drop, but it paired with these lines over here. Like you can see that. And if we lower this thing down to these smaller time frames, if you look at this, this is sellers, this is sellers, this is sellers, that's sellers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 times the sellers reach there. But what does this line also merge with? 1, 2, and then that's the third time that that's the third time that the market reaches all the way over to that point. So when you look at that, and whenever you see that, you can see that the market is reaching all the way over to that point right there. You can see that the market has hit that level. So what's important to understand is you see the lines coming and hitting this point right here. And if you were looking for, an uptrend break or something like that, you'd basically be looking at like this for a break, a trend break, a break and retest. Gold never does that. That's perfectly fine. There's a lot of different structure that starts to come up outside of that. So you look at the head and shoulders pattern I talked about, with the shoulder being here, the head being here, and then the shoulder coming back under here. You look at the break and retest of a selling point right there, a buying point right there, market coming under here and hooking. There's multiple different factors as to why that thing would probably never come up and cross that line, because it is such a strong bearish structure. So you see the sellers at the high there. Then you see the downtrend begin. Now what's important to start to recognize of what's going on is sellers, immediate drop, sellers, immediate drop, sellers, immediate drop. This is that trade that when, I think I've seen you guys talking about it in the chat, you guys are doing like small sells, like right here around like 1776, 1780. And I just remember I was looking at the chat and I was like, yeah, I know exactly where I'm selling. I said, if that thing comes up to 1785, I said, I am no hesitation selling that 100 pip stop loss and I'm chilling on it. And I said, if I can get a better entry, and that was when I got that 50 pip stop loss in, or I think it did 40, and it was right here at that level. And if you look at this, market had spiked all the way back up. So even though price came over down here, and if you look at this, look at what the market, look at the story that the market is telling us right here. Do you see this? You see that zone right there? This is the strongest point of reversal right here. Straight through the closes of the candles there, taps that wick right there, taps those wicks right there, and look at that. So that's the range of the market right there. There are immediate buyers right there at that level. And you see when the market gets here, it tries to break that, see that breaking point, and it shoots right off that point. Now, I was asleep during this time, but whenever I woke up, I seen the market was right here, so I sold again. This was on Friday. Either this was Friday or Thursday, one of the days maybe. I don't remember what time it was, but it came right there. Now, what is the difference, though? What's the difference? What does this box that I have right here represent, guys? What does this box represent? Let's go and look at what this box represents. Let's pull it over to the left, and let's go see what it represents of what we're looking at. So here, there's really not much that it says right there in this level. Let's just pull it over and look and see if we have any clues. Okay, double bottom support. Look at that. One pullback, boom, double bottom. Big reversal line right there. Okay, look at this right here. You see this when it reaches there, it had some major drop right there and then shot up right there. Not a big, not huge, but you look at the distance in pips, 1760 to 1790 we're looking at. That's 300 pip move, and then this one was way bigger. Let's see if this line holds any more significance over there. Okay, price had been, looked like, was it downtrending? It was uptrending, and then it came and hit a very solid support from 1766 all the way down to a nice little wick at 1756. And look what this line represented and what the market did. It shot up, right? And see how much it shot up there? And I mean, that's way more than 300 pips. That's over 1,000 pip move easily. So you look at what that line represents now, and look at the price structure that the market is telling us. Now, does this still look like a sell? When you look at this and you see this, now if I take this off, now here's what's going to happen. The new story is being unfolded to us right now. There is a new story. So I don't really need these lines over here because I don't want to confuse anyone. I don't want to confuse anyone with these lines here. This line has already been broken. Now, these lines right here aren't really needed. Like, these lines aren't really needed here. It's just a representation of what's going on inside of the market. So when you see this, what has now happened? What has the story told us? The story is now telling us that this is not a sell anymore because price is above it. And look at the structure that is being told to us now. This is a shoulder. This is the head right here. This is the inverted shoulder right here. And price has clearly broken out of that. Now, here's the thing. Does this make this a selling market now? You have to ask yourself these intelligent investor questions. If the market is showing us this at this key point level, at this critical level right here, look at the factors that this market is now telling us. Okay, what are the points that can happen now? If you remember back on early September, so exactly a month ago, I talked about the inverted head and shoulders that could potentially happen on gold when it was at 1830. All right. These were the zones that we were talking about at 1830. And I was saying that this was our shoulder here. This was the head right here. And we could see price come all the way down to right here. This is a likely zone to see price come down to. And this was back when price was at 1830. And it was all the way up here, and it had many factors that showed us that it could go lower. And I said, I don't know how fast it can happen, but it seems like that's a likely thing to happen to complete this pattern. And as you see, we got an 1830 drop all the way down to a 1720 drop. So we got over 1,000 pip move. We got the move clear into the completion of the shoulder. To almost a 1740 is pretty much where it went. And it stayed on a clear downtrend. Now, do you understand the power of what this now means? This is still the inverted shoulder right here, okay? This is still the shoulder, meaning that this pattern can clear right back up to here, which will probably have some type of pullback because that's normally what happens, and shoot probably somewhere up into there. That's most likely. Now, everyone wants to catch the big daddy trade of them all, and get into the trades and, not miss the trades and, get the biggest trades ever. But when you're doing these things, it's just like on gold here. We want to ride the trade, but saying that this is a very likely scenario to happen in gold because it's denying a lot of very, very important zones. And the one zone that there's going to be, let's see, I'll give you two zones right now that are going to come up and play a role. That one, and then it is going to be this one right here. So first, it must break this zone. That's number one. Right there, very powerful sellers. Right there, very powerful sellers. It must break that zone first. So we are looking from right now. So from the 1760s, so let's just say the 1750s to 1760s, we're looking at going back into the 1800s. So we're going to go back in time, or we're going to jump forward in time. And then we could very well go to the late 1800s, and then we might even reach the Cretaceous period and then go to the Jurassic period after this. So when we look at these different time periods, we're going to be jumping into, we could see the dinosaurs, all these different things could come up. So we need to be prepared. We have to have the weaponry. We have to have the skills. We have to have the tools. Okay, did I lose anyone? Hopefully I didn't. And you're staying on track. You feel me? But on a real note, that this is really what we're going to be looking for with these trades. So when I see this is still intact, guys, and you have to move with the market. Okay, we might want to have seen it go all the way, and this is what I was saying. When the market dropped below this point, I'll be the first one to say, 'cause I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I don't look at it like that. I think Dario was talking about in the chat. I was like, no, that thing is most likely going to go all the way down to 1680 or something. And look where price is at. It's all the way at 1770. So Dario, if you're on, you should leave the academy, bro, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, man. but yeah, you are on. But yeah, so when you look at this, like if I'm, let's say, for the betterment of how you'll understand this, if I'm wrong and when I'm right, the times that I'm wrong, think of it like this. If you risk a little bit on the times that I'm wrong and you risk a little bit on the times that I'm right, but you risk a 3-to-1 amount and you do that, you're going to always come out in profit. Right, you're always going to have more money because you're trading with the right system. So it's not about just getting on and taking these finding these big trades, but it's about understanding the system. So you see this is an inverted head and shoulders right here, guys. If you look at like a fib, so I'd basically fib it from this first little move right here. I'm looking at this thing. Let's see. So we're going to come back. This is probably gold will most likely, because it moves incompetently sometimes. But since I know where the buying zone is, I'm most likely going to set some, because it's already done everything I needed it to do. So, for instance, I just want to see. Okay, so Tyler's on and Devin's on. Okay, so for instance, something that you guys were talking about with GBP Cab, and some other pair. This thing has broken the levels and shown me that it now has buying, it now has the buyer side. So when you look at what am I looking for this thing to go up, well, it's got plenty of patterns that's showing me plenty of confirmations, right? So inverted head and shoulders off of this 4 hour, that's one confirmation, right? Then we have the daily support of buyers all the way 1, 2, 3 right there. It's retested that. It's back inside of the buying zone now, right? We have, which is the most important one of all, 1, 2, 3, 4 cross above the 4 hour downtrend. So not that it has to be a 4 hour downtrend every time, but it's just you can clearly see that off this time frame, it's a clear downtrend off the 4 hour. It's broken that now. So now anything that comes back down into this zone doesn't mean a sell for me. It basically means a buy. Now, so that's off those smaller time frames. But let's not forget inverted head and shoulders now off the daily. So now that we look at the inverted head and shoulders, we see this off the daily. We got the daily traders even behind this. So when I look at this thing, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if price comes back down to here, so where's my buying zone? So my all out buying zone that I really, really want, that I'm really, really looking to see. If you look at this thing and we're now on the hourly, the immediate downtrend off this hourly was right here. That was that immediate downtrend. So that's the immediate sellers right there. And you see how you sell there, you're chilling all day. It comes back into more money. It's all day. This thing should not have came right here and went up, but there's new investors that got in. But where is like my all-time entry point for gold right now? Where's my real level? So even if gold comes up, I'm gonna live with, if I miss this trade, it's gonna suck. Only if I say it's gonna suck. But there's gonna be a little part of me that's gonna wish if I miss this, because I like to get in way at the bottom or way at the top. It just makes riding the wave easier. It just makes me feel even just less at ease. But it doesn't mean there's not going to be another opportunity. But where's the new wave of money at? How do we spot the new wave of money? Right here. New wave of money right there. So I'm going to put some pinning orders about right here. I'm telling you guys exactly this is what I'm going to do. It's done everything I needed it to do. I'm going to be placing pinning orders at probably starting at 1760. I'll probably place another one at 1755, and I'll place one more at 1740, at 1750. So about a $10 range is where my money's going to go. Because you see how this box right here is the daily and the weekly support. I know that most likely, unless it's done and it just starts shooting up, we're going to see price come back into that zone again. So we're going to see price come back down into here. So I want it to clip a lot of those orders in here. That's what I want. So tomorrow, if I wake up and I see prices at 1754, 1750, I want that. It's like, yes, it came down to that. Because I'm not worried about like, oh, well, what if it comes all the way and stops me? No, because what I know is my out point is right here. This is my out point, basically that line right there. Because when I see this, I'm not looking to be right. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know the potential of this. It's done everything. Tell me the last time that price has went above this line right here. Tell me the last time price went above this line. All the way back until September the 3rd, Price hadn't went above that line since it has not. And even this line has held true, meaning that was a huge place where a lot of traders were getting involved and they were not breaking it. They have broken it now, meaning that these investors are not in that position anymore. They're not there, because if they were, they would get back in and price would be dropping. Price would have dropped all the way to here. Most likely it would have went right from here straight back down to here. That's would have happened. It didn't. So since it didn't happen, we now have to shift so we don't look on one side of things anymore. So now we want price to come back over here. It's already done it. So I'm stacking positions now with the new investors, the new buyers, because they like this as a buy. And if price comes and goes zoop, all the way back down, I don't care. Okay, cool. That's what you wanted to do. I take my L right there. That's fine. Because guess what? I don't worry, because I know my system's going to work over time. And that's that same mentality you have to start to have in trading, to know that you're always going to be a winner. It doesn't, you don't get affected by the market in that sense. So seeing this and looking at this right here, that's exactly what we want. So if price comes all the way back down, I'm wanting price to come back down into the 1760s or to the 1750s. That's what I want, because when it does, it's sitting right on that zone. And if this thing holds true, all I got to do is just let my out be right there. Because if my out is right here, then I know that it's like, okay, cool. Then this is pretty much where I need to get out at, because the market's already shown that this is where heavy buying is going on at 1750. And we have a lot of structure to show that. So if price comes back down to here and it whips back into where the volume is and where the money is, we want that. So seeing this is what you guys want to start seeing and being like, okay, I know what I'm seeing now. So even though say you guys want to be like, I want to buy now and I want to get in now. It's not like a bad thing if you get in now. You just have to understand, well, where am I going to get out at, and pretty much where am I riding this thing to? So it's about precision, just like I have in the psychology videos in the academy: patience, persistence, and precision. That's something I talk about, the 3 Ps in the academy. It still holds true since I started that back in 2018, and I did those videos. So that's really important that you understand that with these levels. So where are the new buyers? This is most likely where they are. We can clearly see them. It's okay if it comes back down there. This is just a guideline for us. We know that the seller line has been broken. We see that. We see that it's back into a major buying zone. It's there. So now it's like, well, where is it going to go? We're going to see it's primed for a buy, and that can change at any time. But you have to understand that it's not about being right and wrong, because you have to understand the market is always right. We don't have control over that. But that's something that I wanted to outline there. There's another one on Chef JPY, because I know Chef JPY came all the way back up, and the way that it was doing, and it was following those points. There was a lot. If you see this box right here that I have, and we come back over here, this is that major buying line right here. That's this major buying line right here. So whenever I look at this, there's a lot. This is the break and retest of structure from here. So we got structure coming through here, right there. I don't know what all these things are that I have on there. And then this is the weekly structure point right here, which is this line right through here. This to me doesn't look as good like it used to last week, which is here. This is that zone. It did end up hitting my 3-to-1 anyway. So just looking at this thing, this was my 3-to-1 point. It happened actually before the weekend, which was great. But I just wanted to speak on that, because as you see how it's came over here and it fought, it battled, and the buyers are winning. So this is an excitable move. This is a pullback. That usually means that price is going to go up. It's just not, it doesn't look good on the eyes anymore. This is something that I just don't, even though this is an M top, it's kind of like I told you guys about last week about that relationship thing, where you're like, you see that guy or girl that they got that thing that you really want and you're really attracted to it, and you're like, this looks really good, and I really want this, but it's like that's the only thing that they got going for themselves, and it's like you really want the whole package and not just that one thing. It's kind of like this M top right now. It's like you might really like M tops, and you know that's a nice reversal pattern, but at the end of the day, you only got one confirmation, so it doesn't really make sense in order to load up on that. And if it does end up dropping and goes in that direction, that's totally fine. It broke the 1 hour downtrend that it did right here. That's not a good sign. It just shows that there's more buyers in this, and it rejected this downtrend line that it did not need to, because it went right back into the big massive selling line since all the way back in June. Did you hear what I said? Summer of June, which means it crossed back under that line here. This is supposed to be the exact opposite. It is not supposed to come this way. It's supposed to shoot back down that way. It didn't. It went the opposite way. Not a good trade anymore. Just wanted to outline that there. So this is more of a bullish trade than it is bearish at that level. But yeah, those are the ones that I was in. I wanted to talk about. I don't know if anybody else had anything, any questions about what I talked about, or any pairs. Anybody have anything?
Can you check GBP USD, please?
Hold on 1 second. I forgot. Hold on, I did not hear what you said. Let me I forgot I need my headphones. I am looking. There they go. About to plug this in, bro. You said GBP what?
USD.
GBP USD. Okay. This line. I don't know why I did that now. Yeah. This was the line I was saying that it hadn't came back and retested yet. This is the one I was saying to watch out for last week. I don't know who said something about this last week too. But sellers, sellers, sellers. This is a breakout trade of a sellers. This is a break and retest. This line is really irrelevant. This line is really irrelevant. This line's irrelevant. This line's irrelevant. This thing's irrelevant. What the hell is this? No. What is this? This that big ass downtrend from like ever ago. Yeah. It still hasn't even hit that line. It may never hit that. Yeah. It came right back down to me. And then it came right back into this buying zone. Yeah, this looks like a buy. This line is break and retest. I mean, it can be there, but this is gonna be the one. So, this came back into the weekly retest zone, the buying zone. That looks like an exhaustion of sellers right here. This daily candle coming down there. The reason why is because this should be like continuation of a drop, but this looks like an exhaustion of sellers. Whipped right back around, straight back into the daily downtrend. This is probably going to be the next point wiped out. We're going to most likely see price shoot like this here, and we're going to come back into buying zone and like that. That point. That's going to be critical. There. This isn't. I mean, you can. I can see like someone wanting to do like a sell because of this right here. This doesn't really fool me though. This is still too small of a time frame for me. Here, I need to see. If this thing holds. Like if it holds here and it holds some days and it comes and hits this zone too. it's going to be a lot more tempting to take a trade off this little zone right here. But it needs to hold underneath this line because this is such a massive, this right here, price has never, since it broke this zone, came back and not even this wick right here hit these wicks right here. And this is an excitable move. So basically, if you're a Fibonacci trader and you understand fibs, this is your move right here. So you look at that. That's pretty much your zone that you're trading off of a fib. And yeah, this makes things even better for the argument I was just saying, because if it stays below this zone, that means it stays below the 78 zone, which if it stays below this, you got let's look. One confirmation, another confirmation here off that daily, another confirmation, and then you got the fib right here for another confirmation, and this thing is still downtrending. So if it does hit this zone and it does stay below this level, then you got yourself a better sell. But just off of looking at one specific thing, I never go off of one specific thing anymore. Which this is a nice bearish pattern still, but if this thing doesn't break this zone right here and it has to break a couple different zones, then we'll probably see this thing come back down to this line right here, which would make even more sense because it's going to come back and retest this monthly breakout zone, which that's very likely to happen because we have this selling point here, this selling point right here, and for price to come down to here, it needs to have some type of rejection right here. This is going to be a critical phase in the week that if this pair does not break above 1.36400 or 1.37 thousand, if it does not break above that and it stays below that, we're probably going to see price come back down lower again. That's what's going to have to happen. It's going to have to stay below there. But if this thing, say tomorrow or say today, this thing, because the candle just started, we got 20 hours and 13 minutes left in this candle. If this daily candle comes right up to here and we see it come all the way up here, then we're going to know that the buyers have strength and they're pushing price up into here. And if they do push price up to here, it's going to be critical to see this next day. So this next week is going to be important to see if this is a selling pair or if this is going to be a buying pair. Inverted head and shoulders. On oh, you're meaning like yeah, I see what you mean. Like this would be a shoulder here, and then this would be that shoulder there, and then basically it would come above there and it would go like that. Yeah. That would be the inverted head and shoulders for sure. But there's a lot more stuff that needs to happen for that to happen. But that's very likely that could happen though, Sebastian. But I do like that vision that you see there because that could definitely happen. Hopefully that helped out, Jose. EA. So Audie, Dottie, McBody, Dottie. Yep. Oh, yeah. I remember this. Talking about this last week. Yeah, you brought this up last week too. Euro odd. Look at that. Jesus. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah, this thing's looking good. This thing's looking really, really good. Very good, honestly. The orders right here at 1.59 200. Yeah, this is, I can tell you what's going to be really, really important is that thing getting broken right there. That's going to be important. Let's see. We're looking at this zone. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm just looking at these down, just looking at this. Yeah, this thing is really nice. Euro odd is probably going to be pair number one, because we're going to see Euro odd. There's going to be something's going to happen in this thing, and it might, if this week doesn't do anything retarded and doesn't take forever, because you got a head and shoulders pattern right here on Euro odd. You got a major weekly support right here. You have a major weekly uptrend right here. So you got major zones right here that are going to be critical, and this 4-hour move right here is going to be important. This thing crossing this line is going to be big, and there's a big buildup in price right now. So we're going to see this thing can be very similar. I'm going to bring this up because it could be very similar to GBP NZD from a few weeks ago, where we had that really big uptrend right here, that really nice support that was created right here, and it hit right here off the support, and it battled, and then it ended up shooting all the way down and broke that support, and it had that huge quadruple top, nice selling zone M top right there. There's a lot of bearish signs too, but there was a lot of bullish signs as well, and that was off of the daily. And this thing didn't have, it wasn't like it was like, this isn't anything like major, like that's a selling point, and yes, this is a selling point, but it's not like there's that's like a dominant pattern. That's not an M top or anything. So when I look at Euro odd, I'm looking at this thing and I can just see like this thing could be really, really interesting, because I mean, even look where this red line is. A lot of support on Euro odd at this 1.6 area. 1.6 to 1.59. A lot of support there. So for this thing to be over here and where it's at, we're just going to be at a really interesting level for this thing, because this can have a really nice move. And again, it has not broken these smaller downtrend. It's already starting to break this one right here, which is a good sign. Like this zone right here, let's say we got 8 minutes. So in less than 8 minutes, price comes all the way down. We will have gotten a successful close above this line right here. That's a good sign. That's off. And if we pop this thing on this 4-hour, and I go like right here off the close of this 4-hour, this is basically where we're at off the strongest point of reversal. So this is getting into territory I really like. This will be a place where I place some pending orders as well on this, because this can be a big trade, big 3-to-1 trade. It's got a lot of bearish signals though. They're there. But this thing is in definite buying zone territory of this zone off the daily. So it's there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. I really like this pair for this week. Gold and that Euro USD. Oh, I think I have. Oh, I bet my sell stop's triggered. No, they didn't. But it is coming back into that zone. That's good. EU's coming back into that zone, and as you've seen, the zone I told you guys about last week. I don't know who talked about EU, but as you see, there's the buying zone, buying zone, buying zone, buying zone. Look where EU came to. Not a surprise at all. Came right down to that buying zone. But when we look at EU, it's coming and pulling back. This is still the downtrend that's intact. This is still the uptrend that it keeps going down to. And it keeps respecting off of that zone. You look at EU, we're going to need to see EU. And what's really happening with EU is this is really the zone. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Why did I make the zone that big? I don't even know. But this thing is coming right, literally this thing is coming right down to the zone, into this selling territory right here is what's going on. And I like this little pullback and this little pullback hook right here. This thing is going to have to This thing is going to have to break back up above this zone here. It's going to have to go higher than this. So this is looking good for a little baby sell. Let's see, uptrend. It's coming right to an uptrend line. Yeah, around that line right there is looking like a good sell. If price comes up to here, this is pretty much the zone of selling right there on EU. But yeah, EU is a good little sell stop. Sell stop's going to need to be below 1.15600, probably below 1.1400, honestly. But yeah, those are the zones I got right there.
Yo,
Troy the boy.
what's up? Yo, can we look at NZD Chef? I got in the buy. I had it marked up last week. We talked about it, and I lost on buying it. And then I see now you had it marked up and marked it up better. Bought it. I'm in the buy and a little bit of profit, but just want to check it out. And then I'm looking at Nas 100. Looks like the Nas from where we sold it like last week or the week before. Now it looks like it's coming into the buy zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one. If I would have kept it in, I lowered my stop loss just a little bit because I had multiple positions open and it
Mm-hmm.
just stopped me out. But if I wouldn't have done that, look where it went. I could have been in it all week and got a
And you
huge move
bought?
out
You're
of it.
saying you bought NZD Chef here, or whenever it
Yeah.
popped down here?
Yeah. Yeah. Right where it popped down right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What size stop loss you put on it?
Let me see. I have a 20 pip stop loss. And my entry is around, 64,191, around there. 64,190, something like that.
64.90.
Yeah, point
Oh, you put
sixty
it.
four
You put it in profit.
one. No, my stop loss. I have a 20 pip stop loss, and my entry is 64,190, and my stop loss is 63,990.
You put it right
So
above
I have a 20 pip stop loss.
that. Yeah, NZD Chef still hasn't. It still hasn't broken this downtrend. This is pretty much the downtrend right there. It's still range bound. It's still range bound in that zone right there. That's the downtrend on NZD Chef. So it hit a selling zone. If you see sellers here, sellers here,
Yeah,
sellers here, sellers here, hasn't broken it. This is the daily chart. If you see it, those are pretty much the wicks and daily closes right there. So see how it hasn't broken up. Just looking at that right there. That's pretty much the zone there. So I was telling you, I was like, you gotta take some 3-to-1 profit.
I know. I told myself I was gonna do that a long time ago, and then it's like I'll get into it. Like I got into gold, and I'm like, oh, the potential is so big. So I said, let me just let this ride, and then it turned around in 1 hour and took me out in one
Just
hour.
just gotta let that go, man. Hey, I
Yeah.
mean, it took me 6 years to figure that out. So it's
Yeah.
all good. The moment you get, the moment that you get it figured out and get that done. I'm first glad you didn't cut yourself on that act. The moment that you get it figured out and you get that done, I mean the profits are going to be rolling in. Like I said, I mean I was hard headed this whole year. I mean, just because the turnaround that I had at the end of 2020 and where I was at, I mean, I was okay with just seeing my trades being up 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, $40,000 in the year. And I mean, I'd go up all the time, probably no less than $2,000 a trade. I mean, it was all the time. So I was cool with that. But I mean, just it led me to $150,000 negative. So
Yeah.
that was the 6 months. I mean, I was fine with it. I mean, I recovered perfectly fine. It's not like, I mean, in the last 90 days, I've made millions of dollars, literally. So it's been pretty cool just seeing the turnaround that's happened. So I mean, you just when you come to terms with what you believe and what you continue to identify with, and then you feel that it's time to let go of those beliefs and let go of those identities that have been with you, then you're gonna no longer need to repeat the lessons anymore. I mean, you can tell yourself all you want that you're not going to do something, but the moment you turn around and do it, it's like you still listening to the servant at the end of the day, and you're not being the king. So that's why I told you to read the 10,000 Hour Rule, because that's one of the first books that I helped me just uncover and see like my true power. and I read that 4 years ago. So let's put that into terms. So again, it's like as long as you don't quit, you're gonna win. It's just gonna take a little bit of time, but the turnaround that whenever you start winning, it's like it's just monumental. It's like if you give me $600 right now, or you give me $1,000, or something, it's like I'm not gonna go spend that on material things. It's like I'll find something. It's like I could probably find a crypto coin I could put it in, never touch it for the next 5 years, and that thing could be 20, 50, 100, 2,000x and I never touch it because it's like I have a different mindset. So it's just the ways that you have to make a shift in your head, and that just goes for everyone. It's like if I give you guys $100,000, and I just give you 100,000. Many of you are not going to be able to handle $100,000 because of where you're currently at, and it's until you go through the specific lessons that you need to go through, that when you go through those specific lessons, you're like, wow, okay, this all makes sense to me. I don't need to keep repeating this lesson anymore because I know what I need to do. And then you've now transcended. Now you've went further than where you were. So it's just like those kind of things that go on. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and then just having the right markups, Troy, is going to be good. Like just seeing like where NZD Chef projected at. It's like you
Yeah,
see
I
that.
didn't have that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't see that
yeah, and
on my just the
and it's not
news
even
up there.
it's not even just that zone, but look, this is where the money is sitting right here. That's where
Yeah.
also the money's sitting. Anytime and just for anyone, in case you want to know, anytime the market makes a level like this, guys, where it does this, just draw it out like that, and you're gonna see that so see how it came here. This was the sell I had on NZD Chef a couple weeks ago, right here. I sold it right here. And I have my stop loss like right, I think, let's see, hold on. I did it at 6,500, and I did my stop loss at 6,300. And look at this. Do you see how the market, this was my stop loss. Market went to my stop loss. Market stopped right here, built up orders, and then it shot back down. Now, had I been paying attention to this and got back in, I would have known the same exact trade. Sold it right here. Same exact stop loss. I could have did the same stop loss, 30 pip stop loss. There's my reward right there. That's what I was looking for to happen. But just because I wasn't in, this is why another reason I'm going to tell you why people think that trading one pair is like amazing, because they're only looking at one pair. So, meaning if I was just only trading NZD Chef, obviously I would have been paying attention and I would have made my money and I would have lost my 1-to-1. And you look at the movement that it had down here, and the furthest point went down to 3.23 to 1. So that means that I would have lost that trade. The next one, I would have got 3 to 1. See that? It's my 3 to 1. So same entry, same place. It came right back in it. It's just like what I basically tried to give you guys that lesson on gold. Is it's the same thing. It's like say I bought on gold over here, because I did, at 1745, and gold comes up a little bit and then it comes all the way down. Say I come back in again on gold, and let's just say I buy at 1750. This thing could shoot all the way up to here, and let's just say it goes to the tip of this wick. I go to 1750 to 1786, still get my 3-to-1, and I make my money. It's the same concept. It's just you can't let the market defeat you. It's all in your mind. That's all it is. And when you uncover that and you go beyond that, you become a Super Saiyan and you become a Jedi Knight. So if you want to have the Force, then that's all you have to do. You just don't give up. Anybody else have anything else?
We got Nas 100 too.
Oh
It looks
yeah.
like it's coming into the buy zone.
Oh yeah. Let's peep game on the nasty Nas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nos 100. Oh yeah, the very back tip of that zone. What I say? I was gonna put that box there. On Thursday, I said I'm gonna put this box right here because I think this is about the zone it's gonna stop at, and that thing did a perfect stopping point. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Off that level, this downtrend is gonna be important that it breaks, which that's gonna probably take some time to get to. Where's the usually go to?
I drew my diagonal support from further back, so it hasn't quite touched the one I drew yet.
Yeah,
'Cause I
this
drew
is the
from
break
further
and
back.
retest here. This is the very tip of the wick off the daily. This could be a good one. This one could work too. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna. This one. Yeah, this one is gonna need. This one is gonna need some time. I need to see some build up right here. It still hasn't done enough for me yet. It still needs to break this downtrend. There's no point in me getting in. Once it breaks this downtrend here, it'll be primed for buying. But this is good though. This is a good. Where it's at is a good sign. And what it's doing is a good sign. And I'll live with, if this thing shoots all the way up here, I'm totally fine with that. Which I'd rather it come up there more. Let's see, USDJPY. Damn, I wish that thing would have went up there. USDJPY. Yeah, for this one, I don't really like anything on it. What is this? Oh. Yeah, on this one, it broke. This is pretty textbook classic right there. That's the uptrend, pretty much right there. Yeah, and it starts crossing right under there. The up buyers. I mean, you could even hook this thing to about right there, and that gets that hits every buying point that this thing hits. Buy. It comes under, shoots right up, shoots right under. There's your crossing point, straight into that big weekly sell zone. Damn. If that thing would have went to here and did that, I would have had the president calling me to tell me to sell this thing. He would have known my number, because that would have been a quick sell off that thing. That would have been like sell all day on that thing. But yeah, Julio, looking at this thing, there's not really much I see on this one right now. Seeing that, but Nas 100 is good. I'm gonna keep that in mind. Nas 100. I'm gonna keep Euro Odd in mind. Euro Odd is probably the Euro. I will tell you guys right now, Euro Odd and Gold are gonna be the two pairs that are most likely, unless they don't like sit for a really long time, they're gonna be the number one pairs this week in trading. And look what Euro Odd's doing. Look at that. See, it's 100% closed, first time. Look at this. See this right here? This is the first time Euro-AUD has closed above this line right here. So when we see that, I really, really hope that this thing doesn't go up right now because I just want to get into it because it'd just be nice to get into it. I hope it comes back down to here, which would be nice. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but this is a really good one. Euro-AUD is, if you bought it, you probably got in a little early per se because you didn't wait on enough stuff, but it's not to say that I wouldn't make a habit out of it, but basically when it really crosses these lines, these immediate downtrend or when it crosses the first like hourly and 4-hour trend, and you start to see it on major buying zones and selling zones, that's whenever you know that you're probably going to see a trend shift. It's literally just like NAS 100. When you look at NAS 100, it's like, yeah, you could buy it right here, and there's a pretty good amount of confirmation, but just because you want to get in off the very small tip of the wick doesn't mean it's the best. It's the smartest time, because once it passes this right here, that's whenever you know that the immediate sellers don't have that umph anymore. And when you get that bank, basically when you get that big money to push it up, that's whenever you know, okay, you're probably going to get backed by big money, and that's what you want. And it's basically like gold. So when you look at gold and you see this, you basically got the big money backing right here with this, because you got this that happened here, the shoulder, the head, and then this shoulder, plus you got this thing rejecting from 1722 comes all the way up to 1763. That was a 400 pip move that it did, and you got a 400 pip candle, and so it comes back into the buying zone, and you're most likely going to get the backing of the big trade of the big buyers, because this is most likely going to be the line. There's already like 700 different confirmations that this is in a buying zone. So now, if you get a spike to the downside, you're no longer scared. You embrace it. You want it because you get in at a cheaper price, because you see where the direction of the money is basically flowing. So you're like, damn, when this thing comes all the way down, I'm loading up on trades. And that's the kind of mentality I'm trying to get you guys to get. It's just like whenever gold spiked up to here last week, and I don't even know what it did. Remember that weird thing that it just spiked up out of nowhere, like 150 pips? And then I messaged in the chat, I was like, hey, gold is in a zone, and this is either going to be the fastest stop loss that you got hit, or it's going to be the fastest take profit that this thing went down. I put another position on this thing in like in an hour. It came all the way back down and hit my second position that I put in on that TP. So, I mean, it was nice. I mean, it does it quickly. So you just don't get scared when the market comes to those levels. You just embrace it, because your mentality is, you know where the market is essentially going, and you embrace that. Understanding it's like why it's a paradox, understanding that it's like you embrace it because you know where it's going, but you don't let it affect you in a negative way, that it doesn't go the direction that you see it or foreseen it going. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you learn to let that go. And that's where you start to really get into a different mind space in trading. So yeah, hopefully that was a good lesson. I feel like I just said a whole bunch of nonsense and that it didn't matter. Psych! Not at all. Not at all. But all right, guys. You guys have a good week. Hit me up if you guys need anything. Really looking forward to see what gold does this week. Really looking forward to see what Euro does this week, because it can be some big trades for us. So hopefully this was a great lesson for you guys. Hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Peace out, y'all.